Yes, you are tuned in to the final chat show of the week, Senior Race Day here, myself and Chris, and we're getting loads of messages in, emails, texts, tweets, and also comments on the Facebook live stream as well. So I'm just going to read a couple of the text messages we've had in. Sean Watterson says, please give my daughter Brisha a shout out. We're heading to her first race today. Ooh. The last few years we've been in Lanzarote, so glad we didn't book this year. What weather. Safe race to all the riders, and complimenting us for the service we provide. So that's lovely. Thanks so much for that one. Also, we've got a message to shout out to Roy Gelling at Balown. He's just spent a week in hospital, but he's out in time for the post-TT at Balown. Never missed a race.
I'll tell you where Roy lives. Those people want to know about Southern Course.
I'm sure he probably doesn't want everyone to know.
No, but everybody knows where Roy Gelling lives. Yeah, just as you drop down towards Balown, dip the farm on the left-hand side. The good old man is still playing snooker at his age as well. He'll still probably beat us all.
Amazing he's going out in the
well
circuit.
Done, Roy. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, Bob sends a message in to say, again, thanks for the excellent coverage. Thank you, Bob. Came over last week, thoroughly enjoyed it. The people on the island are fantastic. I've been listening all week, even when racing isn't on. It's making me jealous. Keep up the great coverage. Stay safe to everyone. And then Mark Vandeneng sent in quite a long email here. I'm going to try and praise here. So it's Mark from Assen in the Netherlands, who's really looking forward to race day. Says it's going to be spectacular. I thought we had a great TT week in 2016, but this year it's above all of that. They couldn't make it this year, but they are coming over to the Manx Grand Prix and the Classic TT in August. And he talks about the TT as being a bit of a bug that he caught in 21, never recovered. Since then, we've only missed 2012. He wants me to say hello to Kev and Abby, Will and Laura and Ramsey. It started with homestay, but in the meantime, we've become good friends with them. And these Manx men come over to Assen for the TT Assen, especially for Laura. We'll be bringing our Dutch waffles with us in August. Ooh. So that's from Mark. But it just sums up everything, really, doesn't it? It's the idea that people make friends here, they come for homestay, they stay in touch, then they sort of regularly visit backwards and forwards. So it's just a really nice message. I thought it was lovely. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, sorted.
There's lots more, but I'll go through them and come back to you.
Okay, joined by John Watterson from Alamo Newspaper and the TT News, and the editions are now available if you'd like to go and buy them in various locations. And of course, our sports editor, I'm just going to say Tim Glover. It's simple, isn't it? Yeah, our sports news editor Tim Glover is here. Tim, a bit of a change for you moving from sports editor to news editor, isn't it? I mean, it's a big, it's a different sort of role, because obviously you covered sport on the Isle of Man, obviously. After Jeff Cannell was the sports editor at the radio station. I mean, how different is the two roles for you on the day-to-day basis?
Very different, but I've done the sport for a long time, and I just needed a new challenge, really, and the opportunity was there, so why not?
What's the main differences to the role?
Dealing with politicians more.
Okay. All right, we'll let that one go there, I think. I've just had a message in from a friend of mine, Paul, called Paddy, who's a big Leeds fan, and he's taken umbrage at the fact that I said dirty Leeds again to you. Quite right too. So they played that football match at Ellen Road last night, did they?
I think that's I'm in this bubble. So you catch up, don't you, afterwards? But I'm sure there was a friendly at Ellen Road that England were going to play pre the World Cup.
I saw it in the background, but I didn't recognise it as Ellen Road, frankly. But I wasn't watching that closely.
Changed.
Don't know who the manager is there, do we? So let's go back to the racing today. Let's look back on the first sidecar race. That's obviously going to be the first race of today, the Locate.time Sidecar TT Race 2. Dave Bolney, obviously a retirement with the new outfit that he's got, but the laps by Ben and Tom, and also Johnny Holden as well, putting in 117s. The speeds on the chairs, just like the boys on two wheels, it's just gone astronomical this year, hasn't it?
Certainly has. I still think the lap record that the Birchells did last year was one of the best rides we've ever seen, because no other lap record went last year with the conditions, apart from the sidecar lap. But then they've just taken it to a complete new level this year in the dry conditions. Every single lap was over the old mark. Phenomenal. We've 3 laps all inside what was the lap record when they started the race. They're on a different planet.
The weather has been a major influence, as I mentioned earlier, and I think that has resulted in all these wonderful laps. Yes, John Holden, I know I heard you interview him, Chris, and he said, you told him his new lap time, 115 or whatever it was, 116, was it?
117.
117. It just goes so far you can't keep track of it. And he was pleased with that, and then you said, but the Birchells went so much quicker, and he went, I think John, at 61 years of age, is thinking, I can't do much more than that really, but phenomenal.
And he, of course, probably had other things on his mind, and we miss Tony
true.
and Fiona to
Yeah.
hopefully get well soon, and we'll see
That's
you
right.
soon. Yeah, other
Yeah.
things. But for him to go out and do that,
Yeah.
with the restart, obviously, and do the laps that he's done, with that on his mind. And as you said, he's not a young man; he's 61 years old. But all the sidecar boys, they're not young men, are they? Really, a lot of them. Some of them are quite young. But then you look at the John 61. Obviously, Tony Baker was quite a good age too. A lot of the guys.
Tony's in his 70s.
I think Tony's 71, 72. I think he is something like that. Yeah.
And Molly's about 54, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But I mean, when you look at Molly, really, and he's still fit. If he gets the bike sorted, there's no doubt he will be on that pace. He won't be today.
He's down on top
He won't
end
be today.
speed.
No.
That's the thing.
I think
you go through the Silby speed
I've known
trap.
Dave since he was 15 or 16, and you know what? He's a tenacious character.
Yeah.
He's an ingenious character. He's an amazing guy. I absolutely admire him for what he does. But sometimes I think he needs to try and just leave it as it is and try and sort out what he had before. And maybe this year was a step the wrong way. And I have to say, I laughed at John McGuinness's analogy when he said that Dan was like it was like an empty pair of tracksuit bottoms hanging at the back of the outfit, which it did look that way for sort of thing. But you can't knock Dave for his ideas and what he does, and he's an absolute wizard.
It's a beautiful looking outfit.
It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And he had to give it a go, but I think he will say it's not quite right.
But like you mentioned Steve Hislop before, they want something challenge, something different.
Yeah.
Dave's very similar. Dave likes to do something a bit different. We've seen it in all the outfits he's done. The first time, the one with the pointy nose came over, was like, really? Is that going to work?
Yeah.
Didn't half work, did it?
Yeah.
It certainly
He's
did.
brave to do it, really,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
not only is it is revolutionary, but it's his reputation on the line in both as a rider and as an engineer. It's a big thing. So he's given it a go. I don't think he'll stick with it for next year, but you never know. He might just modify it again. But as I've heard quite a few of them say, no, Dan's a brave man jumping on that because it must be hard work.
Yes, but
even though theoretically they're lying down, they aren't doing as much work. But I don't know.
It's an interesting. He said, I think Dan said he had to totally change or adapt to being in that outfit compared to the old LCR or the old Dave Molyneux chassis where they just sit in the huddle position and then lean out and stuff. It must be quite hard work, and well done to Steve Plater, for those who don't know, went round with Ben Birch about 95 mile an hour.
Yes. I recall
you did a lap with Molly, didn't you?
I did do a lap, not around the TT course, I hasten to add, but I went round Derby with him some 20, probably 25 years ago now, and it was on 1100. Suzuki engine was in it.
He wanted to show you a proper lap, didn't he?
No, what it was, they just resurfaced the track. And they had some solos up there and Molly testing it. And he said to me, his regular, it was 93 I think it was, his regular passenger was Carl Ellison. And Carl and I are just about the same size exactly. So Carl, he says, Carl's leathers will fit you. So I shoved them on and got them on, and we went off. And we did a couple of laps, and I thought this isn't too bad really. And I was sort of going through the motions, over the back and various things. But then he upped it a bit, and he got a bit quicker. And then it was like, hang on, Molly, this is a bit too rapid. And those things were strange because he sat really forward on it. They were very long. They were the long wheelbase before they outlawed them for the TT. And in behind him was the engine and the exhaust system. So I was as far away as I am to Christy here now, 2 seats away. And I tried to get out and tap him to say, just back off. I was shouting, Molly, slow down, will you? And he just wasn't listening. Well, he couldn't hear me. So then eventually I managed to just touch him. I was going down the straight somewhere because I was getting blown back as well. And he just looked back at me and went, thumbs up, as if to say, as if I was enjoying it. But I was tensing up on my arms, hanging on, because I thought, at one stage, I really was, we did about 9 laps, which is far more than a race at Derby now. Did he do 6 or 8 now, I think, for solos? But we were going around lap after lap, and I thought, for Christ's sake, I really thought, I can't hang on any longer. So I started to think, where can I roll out? And the slowest corner was where we'd parked the van, or the vans were parked, etc., etc. And I thought, if I just roll out there, it's probably about 50, but I'll probably just about get away with it. So I had this plan in mind. I thought I'd rather roll out there than fall out at somewhere else, and it was scary. So eventually, we did come to a halt. I didn't have to roll out, and we went in, and his brother Graham was there, and Carl, and a guy called Graham Hain. He was there because Graham was going round as well, and they all looked. And they looked at me, and I got a hold of Molly, and I gripped him as if to say I was going to choke him because he's about a foot smaller than me. I was going to choke him, and I had a grip of him, and I've got a picture of that of me gripping him. And Graham Molyneux holds his watch up, and he goes, "Shit, boys, you just broken all that record." And I said, "You complete idiot!" I said to Molly.
No more swearing.
And Molly said, "Oh well, I'm just." We didn't have the chicane in, he said, but we said, we were going pretty well. And I said, Molly, I just thought, I couldn't believe it. But there you go. But then he said to me this year, because I spent a best part of a day with him one day. I just went up to give him something, pass something to him. And I ended up, he was going through, because he's so enthusiastic about it, he started to talk me through the new outfit. And he said to me, "John, when it's done, I want you to come in with me." And I said, "Dave, I don't know whether I want to do that again." And he says, No, you'll be fine. I said, "The only way I'll do that with you is if I've got the lanyard."
Oh, the kill, yeah.
And I'll pull it, because I will.
Yeah.
If I went in, I would probably go in with them again, but I would have to think seriously about where and when.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Just coming up to 8:44 here on Manx Radio TT, and we do apologise for the language there. And if I'm from Tim Glover, terrible language there, Tim. Oh no, sorry, it was John. Sorry. We'll be back with the Met Office in a couple of moments' time, and of course we'll look at the sidecar, the Locate.im sidecar TT a bit more, and of course the big one today, the PokerStars Senior TT in a couple.